Hey everyone, I'm Freddie Mahumane, founder and CEO of Cassidy, and this is Thinking Out Loud. So this podcast, what we're going to do is we're going to think out loud. We think about leadership. We think about the trends that are happening in the market. And today, to help me think, it's Nomfezeko Mthembu. Welcome, Fezi.
Thank you for having me, Freddie. I'm very, very happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. So Fezi, I want to go back before we get into the business side and all of that.
Sure.
Let's go back. Where does it start for you? Where are you from? Where were you born and all of that?
Okay. I go by Fezi. I obviously said Fezi, that's my nickname, and that's what everybody knows me by. I come from Durban, born and bred, still live there. I've been exposed to like different facets and of life.
Yeah.
Grew up and basically was raised in my earlier years in KwaMashu.
Yes.
Then I moved to the burbs because the parents were like, life's getting better. So then we went to Ambilo. So yeah, I went to Durban Girls High School, and then I basically did my degree at UKZN.
Yes.
And I got my marketing and supply chain there. And then from there I went into a graduate program with a very good retailer. And that's literally where I got exposed to e-commerce for the first time, not really knowing what it's about, but being a person of just saying yes. And yeah, I got introduced into it, and it's gone on from there, and I'm very happy with the decision of saying yes to it.
Yes, marketing. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, it's definitely there.
Yeah. What is it about you choosing to go the marketing route? I mean, when you go to varsity, there would be different subjects or different qualifications that you can do. What was it about marketing?
It's a funny story. I started off doing BCom accounting because that's literally what I was good at in high school.
Okay.
But when it got to my second year, I was like, yeah, maybe like money and, accounting is not really the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yes.
And then I switched over to marketing and supply chain.
Yes.
And it really gave me like a beautiful view of business and how brands work in particular. But I was really also drawn also to the supply chain perspective of it. And when I went into my graduate program and then got into e-commerce, it's literally seeing both worlds collide into one. And for me, it really worked out, I think.
Oh, all right. And then tell me about your, there must be some lessons about your upbringing that help shape the Fezi today.
Yeah.
When you look back, what are those? Is there a lesson that you can pinpoint and say, you know what, this had a great impact in my life?
Yeah. When I really think about it, I have to give homage to my late parents. I had a mother who was a leader in her own right. She was a principal in a school in the rural areas, and she gave a lot of her life to it. It was a calling. She was passionate about it.
Yeah, she wasn't only your mother.
Sorry?
She was everybody's mother.
She was
basically.
everybody's mother, literally. And it was hard, like sometimes sharing with her, because we lived in Durban and she was like in the rural areas. But now, being a grown up, I understand. But she's created doctors and so forth and so on. But I also had other strong women around me who did not want to give up and just pushed, So that really, really helped shape who the person that I am and who I want to be in life. But with everything, I think passion and your attitude really, really makes or breaks who you will be, whether it's in your career or your life or with having other relationships. So I would say that definitely shaped, and also being exposed to some other leaders, I would say, in my career. I am going to name drop, but he's just a mentor in my life. I think in my earlier years, especially in e-commerce, Richard McLennan, he really helped me to really understand e-commerce and see it in different in the different views, and from a leadership perspective as well. I think I've been around quite a few leaders who pretend to care, leaders who don't care, and leaders who are actually really invested in making something work.
Yeah.
And he was one of those leaders, and I'm like, yeah, that's how I want to be. Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, what does your first job look like as Fezi? And I assume it must have been in Guamashi or in Durban or somewhere.
In Durban,
Yeah.
definitely. So it was after the graduate program that I was in, I went into e-commerce, and I was an e-commerce coordinator. It was at that time, it's like, what, 10, 12, 13 years ago, and e-commerce was not really like a buzzword, I would say. In South Africa, you had a few players, and we were obviously in it. And at that point, I would also more or less look at orders when they come in, and orders when they go out. So also still understanding the process, really dealing with customer issues, and overlooking or supporting the call center that we had. And when I first started, I was like, what on earth did I get myself into? And because the book wasn't really written, it's really about, okay, really understanding this, and then, failure by failing and making good choices, you sort of then understand the processes. And I think also, but with the team that we had at that point in time, we were really good in saying, okay, this is working, this is not, and then starting to establish like proper standard operations, SOPs. But I would say that in that unknown, I feel like it was really beautiful, because that's when I probably learned a lot about e-commerce in that retrospect. And yeah, it was good. It was fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, e-commerce, especially in South Africa, I think people even started understanding what the word means after COVID, during or just after COVID.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
everyone was not really talking about it.
Yeah.
You now with SPAR, I
Yes.
assume. I see the branding.
Yeah, of course, yes.
What's your career at SPAR? How does it start, and why now SPAR?
Okay. So I was in another job. It was very, very good. I was an e-commerce operations manager there.
Yes.
But what drew me to SPAR was that, okay, like you mentioned, after COVID, there was like a rise in quick commerce,
Yes.
right? And everybody was getting into it. And I think the sense of adventure and the unknown really kicked in again for me, because I had been involved in like the other sectors of e-commerce, with be it GM and clothing, but not FMCG. So when the opportunity came, I really thought that it would be a positive step in my career to actually get exposed to understanding quick commerce.
Yes.
Because at that point in time, we were like more like overnight, a little bit of same day, but like, and then just the normal economy delivery. That's what I was exposed to. But quick commerce was a completely different ball game, and I knew that I needed to get in, and I trusted the brand. It's a home. Everybody knows what SPAR is and what they stand for. And also being in Durban, and it's in Durban, I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to travel right now or go out to Joburg or Cape Town, because I have a family now in Durban. It literally made sense for me.
All right. It sounds to me throughout your career, where you were landing, it was a new place for you. I mean, you're talking about SPAR right now. Quick commerce was also new for you.
Yes.
Right. What would be your advice for? I mean, we have to be honest. There's women are treated differently depending on what career they are in as well, how they are paid and all of that. For someone who's currently at varsity or from Guamashu, who wants to be a Fezi tomorrow, what advice would you give them about new learnings and new beginnings?
Yeah, that's definitely a tricky one. I would also say that, like in my case, I have a go-getter approach to life, and I know that there definitely are constraints, and it's hard sometimes for women to break barriers. But if I have that in my mind already, there's nothing that's going to happen. I won't be able to break those boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know like a lot of people may still have gotten their degrees or whatever, and they're sitting at home, and they can't get another job, or et cetera, et cetera. And because you're a woman, it might be harder. Don't stop, like literally don't stop and just give up, because
Yeah.
if you give up in anything in life, then you will stay where you are. At least try. And I do hope that there are companies out there who are trying to actually change that and give people a chance.
Yeah.
And yeah, also, especially in supply chain, it just doesn't end with the degree. There's other avenues out there to learn more about supply chain too, so that you actually add to your value proposition as a woman, and just don't stop learning, and put yourself out there. I really think that's important.
Yeah.
If like I always say, you just need one. You just need one yes. You can knock on 100 doors, but you just need one yes to get yourself into the door and into your future, I guess.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that. So one day I'm sitting there browsing my LinkedIn, right? And I just started a business, and all my customers are just not I'm not gonna say small, but I don't have any international brands in
Yeah.
my company. And I see a LinkedIn message from Nomfezeko, and it says, "Hey, look, we have something good that you're doing. Can we talk and maybe we can do business together?"
Yeah.
That has created more than 200 jobs.
Sure.
That message alone has created more than 200 jobs in the
Sure.
township, right? But what seems to get to me is how do you document the impact that you have created as a human being? Because, I mean, you don't know the 200 people that are
I
employed,
don't. Yeah.
right? But you know about the Cassidy brand and all of that. But that came through because once you've sent that message and we went out and we said, listen, we have partnered with SPAR, other big companies, big corporates started listening. And they were like, okay, we need to do business with this guy. But for you, knowing that this is the impact that you are creating in your current role, how do we better tell that story, do you think?
I think we're not telling it enough. And to be honest with you, it only clicked in my head that, our interaction actually made a profound, change in people's life after, like, I spoke to Themba.
Yeah.
But I just want to go back to what led me to give you a message on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Obviously, as SPAR, we serve all communities, right? And we believe that wherever you are, you need to have the level of convenience. Whether you're in Sandton, whether you're in Tembisa,
Yeah.
whether you're in Hlanga or Kwamshi Rocks, I say it's Kwamashu, but Kwamshi Rocks is just what I say.
Yeah.
You deserve that convenience, right?
Sure.
And as SPAR, we serve urban, rural, and we also serve townships in our everyday lives from our stores. And our retailers really make it because they try to give an offering that makes sense to the communities that they serve. And I'm like, why can't SPAR to you do the same thing? Why can't we deliver to townships? It irritated me. It irritated me that from a traditional perspective, or from a logistical perspective, that there's like the stigma against townships, right? And it's hard to get in, and the costs are high, et cetera, et cetera. It irritated me. And we were doing well in the urban areas, but we really couldn't our current partner really couldn't get us into the townships. And I'm like, it can't be, right? So I started just like researching, Googling, looking at LinkedIn, just really seeing if it's really dead and there's no hope for the townships, but that was not the case. All of a sudden, Cassidy is coming up. I'm like, oh, okay, there's activity here.
Yeah.
Homie's got his own app. What? It's doing everything. I'm like, what on earth? This is brilliant. Like, why don't people know about this? And then I went into LinkedIn, I saw what you were about, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is definitely somebody that I can approach to see what he's actually doing. Because this story needs to be told, or we need to try and work with this guy. And that's what led me to communicate with you. And after seeing your operations and what you're about and your passion, it was like a no-brainer for me, because I really believe that, especially in the quick commerce world, whoever can fulfill and give an offering in a place, we should work for those people. And I know there's stigmas in the township, yes, but somehow you have been able to get through that. And it's about hiring from the community, really bring about the community and giving back. And that's something that resonates with our DNA. So I'm like, there was a no-brainer. So when for me, the bigger impact that we had was not something that we thought about or had in mind, like, are we going to do with Cassidy and then he's going to skyrocket? It was literally just us seeing that we can work together because we've got the same values, I would say, and if you're delivering in this particular area, we should definitely partner with you. And you're right, we don't talk about have these conversations and understand that, oh my gosh, by this, what I'm seeing is little, it has had a tremendous effect, and I'm sure you're going to grow to even greater strengths.
Yes.
We need to talk about it, and I think it's about talking about in these platforms, and even from like SPAR perspective, bringing you over and talking with like our retailers and the people that we work with, like, oh my gosh, this is something that we've done. We thought it was little, but it's actually really big, and talking about that as well. I mean, SPAR does have other initiatives that we actually are pushing from a ESG perspective, but this one was just, it was operations as usual, I guess, and it just happened not by mistake, it just happened, you know. So I definitely think that we need to have more like areas like this where we actually really do talk about the success stories, and I think it would be good to do that because it also gives encouragement to other entrepreneurs, other Kasidis who are out there, who really are passionate about what they want to do and actually want to scale and feel that maybe I won't ever really talk to a big corporate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get you. Look, I actually, I think it was a week ago, I had the opportunity of meeting your group CEO.
Awesome. How did that go?
It went very well. It was great, and he's a Chelsea fan, and I happen to be a Chelsea fan as well. So it went very well.
Yeah.
But and it's something that you're touching on, and it shows through the leadership of SPAR. It's the humanity and the values.
Yeah.
Right. What are some of the values that you think are very important for a business like SPAR to have as well?
I'll probably just quote you our current values, you know. And like one of them is passion. I live by that. I think if you wake up every day, you're not passionate about what you're doing, you need to rethink your life, you know, because it's we're only here for a set period of time, and if you wake up every day and you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you really need to do some introspection. So passion for what you are doing, 100%. But we also we value entrepreneurship. It's in our DNA. That looks at even our model. At heart, SPAR is a wholesaler, and we rely on our independent retailers to take SPAR's offering, put a little twist of it, and then put it out in the community to help best serve them. And then, like, even from a business unit perspective, and it's so cool that I was also given leeway to not just stick with our like maybe traditional Korea and think out of the box, you know, to also like talk to Cassidy and get into the townships when people said we wouldn't. So I think like those are some of the things that really, really matter, yes, for us.
No, that's great, and thank you for opening up around that. I mean, and I'm gonna stick a little bit with the SPAR brand here.
Yeah.
Right. It must have been a risk, right, for you to agree to partner with an unknown business and also to go into a space where media and everybody was saying, no, it's not a space you can go into, right? But you wanted to take your brand. Not only that you wanted to take your brand there, you also wanted to co-brand You wanted to take our brand and the SPAR brand that is very, very big and put it next to Cassidy as we deliver. It's risky, right? And I know you must have, people must have questioned you to say, do you want to take that risk? And what was it like? I mean, right now, well, it's successful.
It's
You
successful.
can say, I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think when we saw your operation, right, and that you understood the market in which you served, I hear you about the risk element,
Yeah.
but I didn't really think it was risky, to be honest. And
Yeah.
literally, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like we say, we are given the opportunity to take a little risk, or if we make we make mistakes or whatever. But we are given that leeway, and I'm lucky enough that Dax, who's the head of e-commerce in SPAR, when I came to him with the idea of putting gas CD on SPAR to you, and after listening to the logic, because it made logical sense, there was business sense from a commercial perspective, it also made sense. It was not a hard sell, and our approach in coming to the township, because we understood the risk, we did have those conversations, like, how do you manage this? How do you manage that? And it helped, because we're like, it gave us comfort, and with co-branding, it was like, we do not want to take away from what Gasidi is doing. We are in partnership, we're going into the community together, and if that elevates your brand as well, and also puts us in the same in the same space, and then that's completely fine. We didn't, like we're saying, thinking differently, and just working with the right people. It's something that I think that's in our DNA, and we're encouraged to do that. So to be honest, yeah, it wasn't really a risk. You gave us a lot of comfort to actually to make that decision.
All right, thank you. And I wanna, you touched on Dex. I assume you said he's your boss as well.
Yeah.
And I assume leadership played a role in either making this decision or making you to be comfortable enough to present that decision. Right. And what is leadership to you? If somebody were to ask you, you can use the SPAR DNA if you want to, but on a personal level, what is leadership for you?
Leadership is not management, I feel like if you are a leader, you try to, have a team, right? And you bring on those people into your team because you see something in them and you trust them that whatever you task them with, that they will be able to do it. I feel like if you are a true leader, you are there to support the person that you are leading, but never to, you support them, but you don't micromanage. You let them make mistakes, but you sort of coach them about their mistakes. Okay, you didn't make this, you didn't do this well, but okay, let's try this in the next part. But don't put them down for making mistakes, because that's how we learn. That's how we grow. I feel a leader is a person who also, we were just talking just one person, but like with all the people that they basically lead, they are able to sell or influence them on the bigger vision about what they are trying to do. And everybody that they work with understands every single day what they're here for, and what the little they may think they do, what impact it has on the greater scheme of things, And leadership is also about understanding in hard times, you have to sometimes pull rank and then start making decisions yourself, but also let the people that you're leading come up with new ideas and express themselves. I really think that's important. and not always dictate or tell people what to do.
Yeah.
Ask them, what do you think?
Yeah.
When there's a hard question, what do you think? You know, I think in my previous life when I had like a larger group of people that that were under me, that was one of the things
Yeah.
that I did. I would say a lazy leader. You'd come up to me with a problem, like, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, let's try it. If it was good, if not, I'm like, try again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that sort of a thing. Yeah.
All right, interesting. Look, I know that leadership, when you build a business, is very important. And one of the things around leadership is failure. When you're a leader, you can't fail in private, you fail in public. Because the people that you lead can see your failures and they can judge your failures. How have you dealt with that? I mean, being a female leader, there are some other things or questions that might arise just because you're a female leader, especially in this space. I mean, it's a big space right now in South
Yeah.
Africa, and you're one of the leading leaders in that space.
Am I?
I mean, you are. The impact you're having, I mean, you're changing the whole notion around, you introduced e-commerce into the township for SPAR. For me, that's huge, right? It's a game changer. So we can't say, we can't look at it
Yeah, for
and make
sure.
it small.
Yeah.
So what is it like for you?
Sure. I think for me, like you're saying, like mistakes and failure do happen, and sometimes it is like in front of everybody. It's like, oh, and some people it's like, you know, they may not say anything,
Yeah.
but you can see the expression in their eyes or whatever, that judgment, that silent judgment that sometimes does occur. I think, like, besides work and in my personal life, there are mistakes or things that I've made and I've failed, you know, but you can't beat yourself down. You cannot, you know. In everything that we do, there's a life lesson in it, you know. And all you can do as a person is say, okay, what can I learn from this, you know? Because beating yourself down, that doesn't help at the end of the day. You're going to end up depressed, anxious, in hospital.
Yeah.
You know, what can I learn from this situation? I acknowledge that this is what I did wrong, and I take accountability for it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm going to learn from this, and I'll make sure that I'm not going to repeat this mistake again. You know, and I will grow from it.
Yes.
That's literally all that you can do, you know. That's what I think from my perspective.
Yeah, true. I mean, when I think of failure for me, it didn't really start in my entrepreneurial journey. It actually, one of the hardest lessons on failure that I've learned, it was when I was being retrenched, right?
Okay.
I used to work for this big corporate company and they were retrenching. And there was a lady there, the HR director, Candice Poison. And she called me into the office and she said, one of the reasons you are first to go, it's because you don't belong in this space.
Wow.
And we're talking 15, 20 years ago, right? And we recently connected. And she's an executive coach nurse. It's Dr. Candice.
Wow.
And she said there was just something, and I knew it back then, right? That you were not meant for that space. It was a hard no, but it stayed with me, right? It was a failure, but it stayed with me, and it changed how I looked at myself in the corporate sector. And I knew that one day I will have to leave that space. So it's very, very important to listen to some of these failures and then turn them into a positive. So I do agree with you there.
I just want to pick on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so like if you look at your attitude and your mind, right, about that situation, and I think when you're in a bad space, you know, you only think about the negative, and you can get swallowed up in it.
Yeah.
And you probably went through some depression, not depression or whatever, but you were low at some point about that.
Yes.
But you renewed your mind, you renewed your thinking, right?
True.
And you took that failure and you thought of it of a completely different way. and you're like, you know what, okay, I'm going to try open up my business.
Yes.
Right. You changed your mind. You saw that, okay, cool, this corporate thing is not working for me,
Maybe, yeah.
but what else can I do?
Yeah.
You know, and that's beautiful. Every failure, there's something there that you can transform and you can actually make it into a positive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And when you speak of leadership, you touch on a little bit on mentorship, which I want us to talk a little bit about that. So one of my mentors, actually, I'll share two lessons from the two mentors that I have. One of them is Vugani. He's the CEO of Microsoft.
Okay.
And one thing I've learned from him was it's okay to say, I don't know. And for me, it was big. So we were sitting in this mentorship session, and I asked him a question, and he says to me, I don't know, but I'm willing to go and learn and come and advise you. But I also don't think with my experience, I can give the best advice.
Sure.
Maybe it's better if we find somebody who can advise you on this problem. That's the first lesson. The second lesson from another mentor of mine, Roger Sitole. He literally sees the good in everyone. And he focuses on it. Like he looks at you, he sees what's good, and he tries to magnify that. And he doesn't worry about the red flags and all the other things that happen there. And that has helped mold me as a leader as well. And thanks to mentorship. What kind of role has mentorship played in your career?
You know, the points that you talk about, I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like there have been parts of my life where you have questions, you know, you don't have all the answers.
Yes.
And it just sticks in your head and you're silent about it, right? I have was not good for me. I think also, be it in the corporate space or personally, with a good mentor, they provided like a safe space for me to ask those questions, you know, and be able to open up. Because essentially, even if you're an entrepreneur, or if I'm a career woman, as you would say, whatever, you cannot do anything by yourself. You know what I mean? You need good mentors to help advise you to get to where you want to be. So that's definitely something that I have learned. Because I think just because like I said, like my mom worked for and everything, I was a person like, don't worry, I'll do this and I'll just do it by myself. But being able to open up, being able to share ideas, to being able to open yourself up to not criticism, but positive criticism, and not taking things personally, and being able to be humble and listen to what other knowledgeable experts have to say, I think has really helped enrich my life as well from a mental, enrich my life and how I actually go about doing things as well. So it really does help to have somebody or mentors out there to guide you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look back, right, from where your career started, or maybe varsity, and all of that, to where you are today, right? What advice do you give to your younger self? What is that one advice you think, if you were to write a letter and you'd send it back to your younger self, you would put as a note there?
I say, girl, this journey that you're about to go on is not the journey you thought you would be on. Take it easy. Be easy on yourself.
Yes.
And say yes to the opportunities, but be careful about the spaces that you are in and the people that you invite into your life, you know. But you've got this. And good luck. You got this.
Perfect. Thanks for that. So one of my notions, or one of my take around leadership is that actually, I might become controversial here, people will forgive me, but is that women are actually better leaders than men. And the reason why I say that, it's because Leadership is all about um, managing unknown terrain. It's all about strategizing on the ground without having a knowledge about what you're going through at that current point in time. Leadership is around bringing somebody with you, helping somebody to grow, molding a character of the people that you lead. Leadership is around having different individuals inside the household, and you get to bring those characters together and create a team, right? And all of those things that I'm mentioning are more like natural things for
Women.
for women, right?
Yeah.
We guys have to learn about that. And I always say to my team that I know that women are better leaders, right? I just hope that one of my logistics managers, I gave her a book to say why women never get the corner office. And she asked me, why did you give me that book? And I said, because you're a brilliant leader, but you don't know it. Right? How do we start to send that message out to girls either at school or to change the narrative at the corporate level as well, to start to say, let's have these honest conversations. Are actually women better leaders?
I really hadn't thought about it that way. But when you look at corporates and in general, it's very true that men do take like senior positions out there. And I'm just looking at some of the women that like I work with or my friends who, of course, I'm going to be biased, but I say that they definitely have leadership skills, and you can see the way that they talk, the way that they own the room, and you know the way that they present themselves, and talking about those skills that you have. I know that there are companies that out there that are really trying to change, to get women more space, but it does maybe need another platform for women to actually be heard, and really talk about maybe the challenges that they have. That's stopping them from maybe getting to those higher roles,
Yes.
and maybe if there are places that we're being blocked, it's maybe finding spaces that we create and open up new doors for ourselves.
Yeah.
And maybe, I think maybe because this world has been so masculine, women themselves don't know what they're capable of.
True.
I think I'm one of them. In my head, I'm a CEO
Yeah.
of this, whatever, but like, maybe I just wasn't brought up like that, But maybe
Yeah.
there's a space that's needed for us to talk about that, and not toxic femininity, because
Yes.
that
Yeah.
happens, but just really talking about, trying to say that you have these qualities and maybe bringing them out and offering training to women to really
Yeah.
start believing in themselves. And if you see that maybe you're not getting where you need to be in a certain space, it's maybe giving them the tools to open up their own spaces and really become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I think like I'm just like obviously being in I love the Township market and what's going on there, and I've gone to some of the conferences and events, and where you see women businesses out there, and I get inspired by that. I literally look at them, I'm like, wow, I really want to be like that.
Yes.
So there are women leaders out there that actually don't get airplay, and maybe we should start talking about those stories as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a great story I know from SPAR where somebody was entrusted with leadership, and currently it's working very well.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think yeah, it's worth having that conversation. But another key thing around leadership that really fascinates me is the fact that you don't know sometimes when you're leading, right? You can do it without knowing, and somebody would come to you and say thank you for that, right? I mean, when you came to us, it was a sign of leadership, right? But for you, it wasn't something that you had planned. The success was not something you had thought about, right? But hindsight, when you look at it and you get the feedback to say, actually there you led very well. Do you take note of those lessons, like as a leader though, to say, look, maybe next time it helps to reach out, or maybe next time it helps to do this because it helps me as a leader become a better person?
I think it's definitely like I'm still learning, right? I definitely have started to learn that as well. And like you're saying, especially you're in something new, supposed to use new, and you don't actually take time to like sit back and be like, okay, you're really now understanding the impact
Yes.
that you're making. So like even with this journey that we've taken, and we've had some hiccups, we've had to change like our fulfillment strategy a bit from here and there. We've had to come up with new concepts, like maybe to serve rural markets because there's nobody in those areas and stuff like that. We've done a lot in the last 3 years, but then like you're saying, I haven't stepped back to say, okay, oh my gosh, we as a team, I will say as a team, because we definitely did it together from the SPAR to you perspective. We sometimes get so caught up in the failures that we forget to really take note of our wins. And those wins are the things that we should take note of, because they are the wins or that feeling that will take us to the next level and keep on pushing. Because you can't dwell on your mistakes. So I'm learning that, Freddie. I really am. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. You know, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit here.
Oh, okay.
So one of my one of the leaders I would have loved to meet, and I live by every day when I wake up in the morning, I live by their word. It's Nelson Mandela.
Sure.
And it was when he said, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So the man with courage is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So every morning when I wake up, I know that today I will probably have a scary moment, right? I should always remember to be courageous, right? And it is one person, if I were to choose a leader in the past that I could have dinner with and conversate with, I would probably choose him. Who's that person for you?
Sure.
Yeah, I told you I'm putting you on the spot. We're thinking out loud right now.
Yeah. Which leader? I get inspired by like different people for different reasons.
Yes.
But right now, the first name that popped into my mind is Umazwane. I think
Yes, the founder of Busy Corner.
Busy Corner.
Yes.
I definitely would want to sit down and meet with her, because she came from Guambashu.
Yeah.
And came to Joburg.
Yeah.
She hustled.
Yeah.
And has created something very beautiful. And I've been in places around her, and she has such a beautiful aura. And she's so humble. And as a woman, also trying to be the best version of myself.
Yes.
That's the one person I sort of look at and like, how did you do it? Like, how do you carry yourself? You're also in an industry where there's a lot of men in there, but your voice and who you are stands out.
Yes.
That's one person right now.
Yeah.
I think I would love to just sit down and just have a conversation with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
What?
I actually have her on speed dial. I had the opportunity of meeting her at an event, and what you're saying is true, right? Very, very humble.
Yeah.
And so I was speaking at an event, and then she came to me and she said, look, we should sit down sometime, right? Take my number. And I was like, really? You want to give me your number? And it was awesome. Her humility, the lessons, the pure lessons. I mean, I read, I'm not sure, one of the books, Rising from the Township.
Life happens, eh?
It's great. Yeah, you're right. I feel that. Fezi, thank you very much for coming and sitting with us. you have a minute to promote the SPAR brand right now. What do you
Okay.
tell us about SPAR?
Um, SPAR, I'll just talk about what it means to me, you know. I'm not trying to sell dreams or anything like that.
Yeah.
SPAR is your local grocer. When you walk into a SPAR store, you know who the retailer is.
Yes.
He knows you by name. He knows how many kids you have. He knows if one kid is in the hospital. We are a family, and we take pride in our stores and our offering. Besides that, we have SPAR to You, lost in the market, but we're trying to get it right. And what we are trying to deliver to our customers is an experience that makes sense to you and your community. We're trying to get into the townships, we're in the rural areas, and we're in the urban areas, and we let you choose which store you want your goods delivered from. Try SPAR to You. We're here. And if you have an issue, you can call your store manager and he will sort you out. When you don't have to call customer care and be
Yeah.
routed to somebody else. Your goods are coming from a store that you know and you know who the retailer is. And we're about our service and our experience.
Perfect. You really took it there, right?
I hope so.
All right. Thank you for coming through. I mean, yeah, I know you're on business and you found the time to be able to sit with us. We really appreciate it. It's awesome thinking out loud with you.
Thank you.
And to our listeners out there, thank you very much for sticking around and for thinking out loud with us. We want more comments on our videos. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Until next time, take care.